before I go any further, I just want to congratulate the LGBT Center of Greater Cleveland on 35 extraordinary years of service to this community. And of course, congratulate Mayor Jackson, Councilman Zimmerman, the City of Cleveland for what is now the second annual LGBT Heritage Day. I was privileged to be here for this recognition ceremony last year, and it truly is extraordinary to stand before these rainbow flags, something that I know in previous generations and in previous years was not possible. And so I thank you all. I certainly stand on your shoulders and as well the next generations. So it's a particular honor for me to present the Healthcare Award tonight to John Corlett, someone who all of you know so well. Senator Brown is a fierce advocate for public health, and those of you who know his background understand that he devotes much of his time and energy to legislating on these issues and to a lot of activism within what was his congressional district and within the state of Ohio. And actually, at one time in the early 2000s, I believe, John was a public health policy fellow in our DC office. And I called over to our legislative director, who was then the health assistant, and I said, John Corlett, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And she said, pinch hitter, and was telling me that John's work in that office expanded far beyond what you would expect, even from a very highly capable health policy fellow. This is a demanding position. But he was drafting correspondence and legislation, writing speeches. This is someone who could be called on and would serve. And that's what we all know, and that's what is certainly clear. Last year we called these Shining Star Awards, and that's what we presented to all the awardees. And certainly there are few who shine brighter than John Corlett. And as I started to read through his resume in preparation for tonight's introduction, I started to get tired, and I got halfway through, I took a break, and I came back to it. And I was telling John this, and I understand that it's going to be sold in a 3-volume leather-bound copy at the back of the room at the end of today's event, complete with those illustrations I wrote. 3 easy things, 39. But it is an extraordinary record, and so it's an honor for me. John is a lifelong servant for 3-some decades, advocating for the least among us, those with the greatest need, women, children, people with disabilities. His heart is as big as this rotunda. I'm surprised that the rest of us can fit. And before accepting his position as a vice president at a Metro Health System, John did so many other things, most recently serving as Medicaid director for the state of Ohio, a very important position for the state, overseeing the health care of some 2 million people. That is an extraordinary task, and certainly doing so in the context of expansions to those programs is a big accomplishment. And just imagine grappling with a $12 billion a year budget, and doing so also as an outdated hand. It's the sort of leading by example. This is a clear civil servant who happened to be gay, as Councilman Zimmerman was saying earlier. Now, previously, John served as a senior fellow with the Center for Community Solutions, and he chaired a statewide human services coalition. I can only touch the highlights here because we only have so much time. He held key posts with the Center for Families and Children, Planned Parenthood, and Westside Community Mental Health Center. John also at one time led a grassroots lobbying effort to secure $7 million in first-time state funding for the Ohio HIV Drug Assistance Program. We all know how important that is. And the list goes on and on. And this is just one of many awards that John has received during his career, both in the professional world and, of course, in his life as an advocate, as an activist. To mention a few, he won the Child Advocate of the Year Award by the Public Children's Services Association. He won the Leadership Award from the HRC here in Cleveland. He won the Friend of Public Education Award from the Ohio Federation of Teachers, and I'm not even sure where that fits into the theme here. It's quite remarkable. John's contributions to this community are unquestioned, and as an LGBT person, it's all the more important that this well-deserved award is just a small recognition of the fact that this community, the LGBT community, the greater Cleveland community, is so grateful for your activism, for your advocacy, for your service, and I'll end with this. Senator Brown often says, don't tell me what you believe, show me what you do, and I will tell you what you believe. And John, and to the other award winners here tonight, you have shown us what you believe. You have shown us what you have done, and it is inspiration to us all. So congratulations, and we wish you the best of luck in future endeavors.
very grateful for this recognition, for this award. You know, something about what Leslie said earlier about that sort of that fear that we always have. I mean, I still remember, I came out 32 years ago. So I still remember the fear I had that first time I walked into a meeting and wondered what was going to happen to me when I went through that door. I remember the fear I had the first time that I went to meet with folks at the university about why we should have sexual orientation and non-discrimination rule at the State University of Ohio University. I'm thinking at that time, kind of like doing something that's going to like ruin the rest of my life and like ever going to get a job or do anything. But somehow we just sort of work through it. And I think I found that throughout my life, that the only times I've achieved any great rewards is when I've taken great risks. And so I would encourage all of us to think about that, to take those risks, to push ourselves a little bit farther than we think we can go, because the rewards are so great, not just for you, but for all the people that you care about, your community, as Max said, those least among us, because you know it's often those folks, those people who have no voice, that look to all of us to sometimes speak up for them until they can develop that voice and speak up for themselves. So I appreciate the recognition. I'm in such great company with all the folks who are being honored here tonight, and so I'll say thank you.